And it's funny because while mics are on, my camera's not on, and I just realized that. So here we are. We're doing our thing.
Can you hear us? Hi, guys.
What's up, Texas high school football fans?
I'm great. What if we just turn this into like the morning zoo and we're like, whoa, welcome in. This week in recruiting with Greg Powers. Yeah, and then like soundboard be like a fart noise.
I'm not used to seeing myself without the lower third.
I know. I feel naked. You can see my chair.
Good thing I wore pants.
Give me I need the modesty lower third.
Good thing I wore pants.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into the free show before the free show. This is why Pickle usually starts the show, because like she like is a nice calming influence, but when it's right into me, it's like, I don't know what to do. Is your camera back on? Oh no, this might be a pickleless show.
I leave for one day.
I didn't touch it. You can blame your friend Mallory Hartley. That's what you can do.
I'm not gonna blame her because I'm excited, or I'm thankful that she fills in when I can't be here. This is
you
low.
Want to go ahead and do your thing.
I have to like sit like this.
Go ahead.
Howdy, welcome on into the pre-show before the pre-show.
Let's talk about. There's a lot to talk about in the pre-show because Greg Powers is here, and Greg Powers, I want to know.
Ow. Sorry.
I want to know about your color commentary debut, because you were the color guy on Temple versus McKinney, which ended up being pretty darn good game.
It didn't look like it.
It was a bit of an offensive struggle. It was an interesting game because it was 90 degrees before kickoff, and then like there was a rain delay. Then it was 73 degrees, and they were playing in a torrential downpour.
Mm-hmm.
But are we talking about the game, or are we talking about the color commentary? That's what I need. I need to know what like context.
Okay, let's take 1 second. Give me 30 seconds on the game.
Both offenses seem to struggle a little bit, which is to be expected. McKinney has really talented players, especially in the back seven, and their defensive front played well enough to keep those guys clean, right? They're not going to have like one of these massive defensive fronts that you're going to notice right away, but they played well. They got really a lot of talent. On the other side of the football, Temple's defense, they're really good. They got 4 guys up front who are good. Their back 7 guys are equally as good. And the game-changing play might have been Nate Mitchell hitting Keldrick Luster coming out of bounds towards the end of the second quarter. Luster was sidelined for the rest of the game. And that really made a significant impact on the outcome. I think it was a 17-10 finish.
Now let's talk about color commentary.
Okay.
Who'd you work with? Who's a player?
Josh Green and Armando, who was our camera guy.
So now This is I'm a bad boss. I recognize that. Do I know Josh?
No, you have not met
Whoa.
Josh before.
That was really
No,
that
you
was
have
like,
met
like
our.
he's worked for us for 5 years.
Yeah, no, you've worked with our good buddy Josh Price before, but you have not met Josh Green before.
Right. Yes.
He's fairly new to the DCTF family, but he's a keeper.
Okay. So so how did you feel up there in the booth as the Dennis Miller?
So I rated myself a 6.
A 6 out of 10.
Yeah, and I've listened to the game. I listened to the game back.
6 out of 5.
Yeah, 6. I rated myself a 5 out of 6. Yeah. So I give myself a 6, right? And I haven't, of course, like you. I know that you probably like this. You don't go back and watch yourself probably on the show anymore, right?
Mallory and I were just talking about that yesterday. No,
like I don't ever try to listen to myself or really critique. I let my mom, grandma, and wife do that for me.
Same.
And
I let Pickle do that.
Yeah, so I don't.
I go back and watch myself every single week.
I don't go back and critique, but I heard some snippets. I thought it was solid, but I want to do it again, because I learned from that first time. And
found some room for improvement.
Like, what are good things to talk about? It was very boom boom. Like, here's the play. Here's what happened. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to add some more color to the color commentary. And I feel like when you're doing something for Texas high school football, I take it real serious.
Yeah.
Because like you're a part of like everything that's Texas high school. Like you want to be, you want to do it justice.
You feel like you're the MC of a community event.
Right.
That's to me, whenever I've done color, I'm like, all right, there are people, and this is the biggest thing that's happening for them this weekend, and you got to do right by it.
Yeah. So, I saw areas for improvement. So I gave myself a 6, and I want to be able to push up to a 7 or 8 by the next time.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, here's the thing. The first one's always the toughest one. Then you kind of settle into a groove.
It is also different to sit in a studio and do an interview with someone you don't know is one thing. To jump on and legitimately have to hold conversation with someone for realistically 2 hours per se of someone that you've never met before and get into that groove, finding the mesh is hard. Because the first time I did it, and I did mine with Trevor Bullard, and we know him very well. But it was like the first half, you just feel like, okay, what's his rhythm? What's my rhythm? And then all of a sudden you get to the second half and you're like, oh, we got this. One
thing Pickle didn't get me ready for is how hard it is to set this equipment up and make sure it all works right. You know what I mean? Like it was like, so instead of like getting to meet Josh and like, hey, here's how we want to go about this. 11:59, we are hooking the equipment up and testing it still. The game kicks at 12. So we barely even got to meet each other. Like we were putting all this stuff together and boom, 12 o'clock, we're on the air. Okay. So it all came together at the right time, but like there wasn't any formalities, I guess,
So one thing I'm interested in, Pickle, because you mentioned you go back and you watch yourself every single week. Now that you're going to be doing 2 hours.
Yeah, it won't be.
You won't be doing that.
No.
Because like for you, like it would make a lot of sense when you were doing like sideline hits and stuff like that. It's like, okay, those are 4 to 5 minutes at a time, right? You know what I mean? Like 3 times during the show and then one on scoreboard, right?
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment? So about 20 minutes of
oh, no, it was less than that. It's like your reels at the end are anywhere between like 5 and 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
That's
okay.
it. It's not much.
I guess I'm just so used to seeing you all the time.
Yeah, you see me for 2 seconds and are like, okay, that was 7 hours.
So like for me, I'm just like I haven't watched it back in years. Although I did, I told Mallory this. I watched Scoreboard back this past week only because it was the first one Aaron and I did together, just to see how the flow was, how it felt, and stuff like that. And I did notice I need an electric. I need somebody to connect me to like an electric shocker.
Yeah,
like a shock collar, because I had a crutch word on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
Impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Impressive.
Impressive.
That's
said,
better than
It's better than
Yes.
I've started to be able to fight back the but I said impressive at least 15 times during a 2-hour show.
Right. And that's my thing, because a lot of people look at it as, I don't watch myself because I don't like how I sound on air. If you don't like how you sound on air, other people don't like how you sound on air. That's kind of my train of thought behind that. And the other thing is you begin to realize, just like you said, when you start off, it's usually getting rid of those getting rid of the uhs. When you get better and more experienced at it, in my mind, it's the fact that you don't realize that you're saying the one word over and over again. You don't realize that the way that you're turning your head is abrupt. You don't realize that the way you're holding your mic is messed up, and you don't get to see that unless you go back and watch it. So anybody that's ever asked me, like, are you conceited if you go back and watch yourself? Absolutely not. The only way
It's like
to
watching
make
game tape.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's not. It's I don't view it as conceited. I just don't do it because I have no drive to improve myself.
Powers flex. I got to flex.
Oh, here we go. All right, here with the flex.
I forgot this, like, completely out of my life. Like, I forgot that this happened. I did color commentary on Fox Sports 1 for Garland Coppell.
Oh, nice.
For their
Wait,
Holy
whoa,
cow.
I have a lot of questions.
for their very first ever high school football broadcast. And guess how long the game lasted?
4 hours.
2 minutes. Rain delay, boom, off the air. That was my color commentary debut on national television. I got to say,
So
maybe
you
one
have
word.
a rain delay issue.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm the rain delay guy.
You're the
That's
rain
so
maker.
But I was
funny.
like in a suit and everything. I forgot all about this. But that was like I was on national TV for color commentary. Now I'm on
That
bringing
is
it to
too
Texan Live.
funny.
Bringing that to Texan Live.
Wow.
That's
That
incredible.
is crazy.
That's incredible. Okay. Wow. It was a Coppell game?
Yeah, it was a
Like,
Coppell
couldn't have been,
game.
but where was it? It's in
It
Garland.
was at Garland Williams.
Garland Williams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that's awesome.
Wow.
No more. We got to break your streak.
Yeah.
You're the actual war on
Well,
weather here.
it was the first game of the season. Like, that's like a very state. Like, the second week in Houston, usually everything gets rained
Yep,
out. Like,
that's
so.
very true.
Hit the theme, Expo. Pickle! Did the air sign. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas, it is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or you listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support your local mediocre internet show. I'm sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She is the Duchess of the Dorks. She is Ashley Pickle.
Hi, friends. Happy Wednesday.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Sitting to my right, he is
Grev.
the recruiting analyst for Dave Campbell's Texas Football. From
A now two-time color analyst.
two-time color analyst is Greg Powers. Hi, Greg.
What's up, y'all?
How are you?
You're gonna get to see Grev in full.
Full bloom.
Yeah, full blown
Oh,
Grev
yeah.
today. Our
Fantasy draft.
Fantasy draft is today. So that's
Oh,
when,
really?
That's
What
when
time
Grev
is
comes
that
out.
out?
5.
Oh gosh. Okay.
See, I'm not
Shoot.
I'm not in the DCTF league.
Yeah, because you won the belt, then you don't want to give it up. You have it on your So
No, wait.
Oh gosh.
oh, you did give it up.
Yeah.
Well, you're a big man.
I am a big man. Many people are saying. Today is Wednesday, August 31st, 2022. It is, I didn't look this up.
Oh.
It is
Correct.
85 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to, man, this website's so, like, I've talked about this website before about how it's just full of, like, YouTube and TikTok stars. The other thing it's full of is wrestlers.
That
It's like
seems like
tons
right
of
up all of
wrestlers.
your alleys.
Anyway, happy birthday to YouTube star Lael Hansen, who turns 24 today. Happy birthday, Lael.
Sure.
Episode 1447. On today's show, folks, it's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, the next level athlete. And then we'll hear from Flower Mound tight end Caden Jensen with some fun things sprinkled in between. So, first? Do we have first, fourth, or third?
We sure do. It was Nick Borton, Cody Blaylock, Daniel Agnew, and Rob Hadaway. Welcome in, fellas.
Hello, friends. Let's get right into it. I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week
in Cruton.
This Week in Recruiting. Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter, Next Level D1. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express. I had the most wonderful drive-through attendant at Chicken Express on Friday. I had Friday, a little treat before the first week of the season. I went to Chicken Express Friday, went home and ate it. Fantastic. But
Kicking off the Texas high school football season right.
First of all, like if he just had a lot of energy. He was very excited to be there, which he's a Chicken Express.
Which you need before 6 hours of live television.
Bingo, bango. Then he was like, I'm running through my order, my normal order. And he goes, do you need anything else? You need ketchup? You need something? You need serendipity salt? Because I always forget the serendipity. I just always forget it. I always get home and I go, dang it.
Terrible.
But I was like, oh, I do need serendipity salt. He goes, regular or spicy? I go, there's spicy serendipity salt? And there is. Because let me tell you, I do the mild tenders.
Yeah.
The regular tenders. The serendipity, the spicy serendipity salt in the gravy. Oh.
See, I go opposite. I had said that. I go spicy tendies and then regular serendipity salt.
See, I do 50-50, and I ask for one pack each.
He's
that's why they
playing
the big
40
bucks,
chess.
This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, the Next Level Athlete. A lot to get to today. Let's start with our... I had it here, and then I closed it. Good job. Prospect on the rise. We're going to talk about 2024 Waco Connolly athlete Kiefer Sibley. I don't know if this is cause and effect. I like to think it is. But he was incredible in their win over Mejia, 65-20 win. He ran for 174 yards on 8 carries and 3 touchdowns. And, then he picked up an offer from Colorado. I have a hard time believing that's a coincidence.
It is not he's been good. Like, I went back and then I kind of watched his tape for the last 2 years after watching this game after he picked up his offer from Colorado. He's been good, but the difference between Kiefer Sibley this year and Kiefer Sibley last year is about, I'm going to guess, at least 10 pounds. He's at a legit 180 pounds right now. And what I really liked about that tape that jumped out to me is that he puts his foot in the dirt and gets north and south really, really quickly. There's no wasted movement, and he has the speed to cash it in for a long touchdown. He's probably a slot back or maybe a slot wide receiver or wide receiver running back type of talent. Just get him on in your offense and figure it out later. But there was no drop off whatsoever after Trey Wisner left to go to DeSoto.
Right.
He was already getting some minutes there, and right out of the gates he entered the call of the bell to say, hey, here we are. They dominated in their first game. And I mean, with him, Jamari Wiggins, I think Kobe Black, Jelani McDonald, that's a pretty good team.
I think there were people who were ready to throw dirt on Connolly when Trey Wisner left to go to DeSoto.
Yeah.
I do not agree with that. I think they're going to be just fine, and they seem to have found a bell cow back.
They were going to have a hard time having enough footballs if both of those guys were in the backfield, but now he's like the star of the show, right? And I think that's going to be a good team. They got 4 really talented guys, and they use those guys.
Yes.
They understand that these are the guys that are going to move the needle.
Let's move on to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week, going to the San Antonio area to talk about their senior wide receiver, Converse Judson's senior wide receiver, Anthony Evans. He pulled the trigger this week. He was deciding between Georgia and Oklahoma, and he says, Boomer Sooner. Decides to go commit to the Sooners. He's number 66 in the DCTF Hot 100 and the 10th rated receiver in the state, and a guy who is going to take his talents north of the Red River.
Yeah, and when you're the number 10 wide receiver in the state of Texas, that's saying something. And you know what? I bet you he sees that, and he's mad about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because he is really good. I think he's at least he's a top 2 route runner.
Yeah.
In this class. He runs really crisp routes, can get in and out of his breaks really quickly. He gets the separation. You hear this on, like all the college football shows. He gets the separation at the top of his route. He has an expanded route tree. To me, that makes him college ready. So I think he's a guy who could come in, make waves early. So when you see like his rankings and stuff, you're going to say, yeah, well, that guy was underrated. And you know what? In all fairness, we've said this all year. If you're in the top 75 this year, you should be a 4-star. He's a four-star type of talent. And this was a little bit of a shocking decision because this is one of the ones where all of the predictions or the crystal balls or whatever were all on Georgia. Everybody thought he was a Georgia lock and surprised a lot of people on decision day whenever he picked the Sooners.
This is a big get for them. This is a track star too.
Yeah.
This is a
I was
guy.
just going to say that's what showed off this weekend at the Alamo Dome because we got to see him up against Johnson, and it was just, I mean, speed, like absolute speed.
Yeah, he's really talented, and you know there are people who are probably OU fans that are going to see this guy early on, and he's going to remind them a little bit of Hollywood Brown.
Ooh, that's high praise. Very high praise. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, Next Level Athlete, here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Let's move on to our underclassmen of the week. The man who may in fact be the official player of Dave Campbell's Texas football after this weekend.
And rightfully so.
It's San Antonio Johnson quarterback Ty Hawkins. In their game, their overtime loss to Converse Judson, he threw for 317, ran for 151, and scored 6 total touchdowns. And y'all would not shut up about him.
I mean, it was absurd. You get past the first 2 drives of the game, we're going, oh, man, Johnson's offense looks distraught. It doesn't look like they have any kind of fundamentals happening. And then all of a sudden, it turned into the Ty Hawkins show because this kid lit it up in every stretch. We were like, who in the world is this? He's a sophomore.
Incredible. I'm interested in your perspective on him, Powers, because you know me, I'm the guy who's like, that kid's really good at high school football.
Yeah.
Tell me about him as a recruit.
Well, first off, my timeline was really popping off about him on Saturday, right? And I noticed that right away because, a lot of my friends were down in San Antonio, so I had that envy that I wasn't there to see this. You know what I mean? Like everybody's tweeting about this guy, but he wasted a little time getting his highlights up. And the first thing that really jumped out to me, at least as a longtime high school football fan, not only a guy who covers recruiting, is that he kind of reminds me a little bit of Kyler in a way that he releases the ball. I really love that quick over-the-top release. It's like he's throwing darts out there, right? And it's only one game of tape, but to me, he throws the intermediate passes with a lot of zip. He's not afraid to press the ball in between 2 defenders. He trusts his arm. Showed the proper touch, I feel like, on the deep ball, and then he's hell on wheels whenever he wants to pull the ball down and run. Kind of bringing together, what we consider as a new age style of quarterback. He can do a little bit of everything. 6'1", 185. He's bigger than Kyler Murray by 3 inches.
Yeah.
A solid 3 inches, maybe 4. No, sorry, 6 foot, 3 inches. 3 inches taller than Kyler. So
it's not.
This is a guy who's going to get he's going to get offers. He's got 2 right now, UTSA and UIW.
Well, yeah,
but
local teams.
People are coming for this guy.
Because that's the thing is for me, and I'm always interested in checking my priors against yours because I see guys and I'm like, oh man, I love this kid. I think he plays I love the way he plays and stuff like that. And then sometimes you come in and you're like the reality check guy's like, he's good, but let's tap the brakes. When the whole Dave Campbell staff is going crazy about this kid, if you'd come in and be like, actually not a prospect, it would have broken my heart. I'll be honest.
Well, I love how he sets his feet in the pocket. He sets his feet instantly, and boom, the ball's out.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like
it
that.
was the quickness and the precise of it, too, because not only can he, like you said, set it quick, but he gets it there. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said not afraid, because that's something that we noticed almost to a fault a little bit when we were getting really deep into the game. They were pushing to try and go to overtime. What ended up happening was he was zipping. He zipped 3 passes right in a row that all 3 very easily could have been picked off. And we were like, man, this little bug has no fear.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that Kyler Murray brings to the it is the same thing that Kyler Murray brings to the table. He's a little bit shorter than your traditional quarterback, but he played fearless. He believed every time, and still, I guarantee you, he thinks he's the best player in the NFL. He knows in his heart that he's the best player in the NFL, and you could see that confidence in Ty Hawkins, and I love that because just think how good he's going to be 2 years from now whenever he's a senior, because he looked really good as a sophomore. He looks really good as a sophomore.
So Ty Hawkins, the Matt Stepp got that dog in him. Player
Yeah, I
of the
love
week.
that.
We got to get a better dog, though. It was a little weenie
We gotta
dog.
get a graphic. We gotta get a graphic too. Let's round it all out with our. Is it recruit of the week? Our recruit of the week. Our recruit of the week. We're going to. Speaking of Step, one of his darling teams coming into the year was Lake Belton.
Okay.
They looked every bit the part of a contender in their first UIL contest, a drilling of Leander Rouse, 47-21. And one of the guys who stood out was wide receiver Micah Hudson, who is a junior and has now been named the #1 prospect in the DCTF Hot 100, the first player to be named a 5-star in 2024. Why him?
I feel really good about this one, and especially kind of watching the highlights and game tape from that first game. He's been really good at Lake Belton for 2 years. He racked up over 1,000 yards as a freshman. He had, I think, over 600 or 800 yards last year as he played predominantly wide receiver in that offense. He has the it factor that some of these other top players have had at the wide receiver position. He's got great hand-eye coordination. He's 6 foot, but he plays much bigger because he has a great vertical ability. He can go up and get the ball. Great hands. Runs really well. Strong. He turns into a running back after the catch, so he picks up plenty of yards after the catch. Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, those were the 2 guys I think that we've had as wide receivers who were #1 in the state. He can be that type of receiver. The one thing that I want to see him continue to work on, which he hasn't shown any weakness here, is that those guys have the strongest hands in the game.
Yes.
Right? Like they're constantly working on being a great pass catcher. This is like the things that young wide receivers have to understand is like how much work it really takes to be a tremendous wide receiver. Like it's an everyday catching tennis balls, catching off the jug. It's like an everyday thing to be great at it. It's a job.
Yeah.
And now that he's one of the greatest, not only in the state but in the nation, that's like now he has that responsibility or has to bear the weight of that responsibility to be that type of guy.
Well, and that's because those are muscles that you don't use on a
Right.
frequent
Yeah.
basis,
Yeah.
right?
So repetitions, but like there's nothing to really pick his game apart.
He's
I
the
mean,
#1 prospect in 2024.
If that's the diciest thing about
Yeah.
him, he's doing pretty darn good.
Exactly.
yeah, like instead of working 6 hours, dude, you have to work 8 now that you're #1.
Them's the rules.
But he's got all the offers. I mean, Alabama, Ohio State, Oklahoma, Texas, Texas A&M, Baylor, TCU. Everybody's offered this kid, and deservedly so. He's now the #1 and the first 5-star in 2024. Who will be #2?
He's got
Let's
to.
go.
I guess we'll find out. I know our #1. Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter. Next Level D1. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Powers, stick around because I just want to talk to you more.
Okay.
Okay, bye. We're Texas Football today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at TCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. Pickle, it's time to announce the Parker University game-winning decision of the week. Wow, that's exactly what the lower third says. Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Parker University recognized 10 high school football athletes who made key plays, leading their team to a win. Each week we review film, stat lines, and top plays to find the player with the game-winning decision of the week. It includes a game ball, a presentation, as well as a $250 check to support the school's athletic program. And this week's Parker University game-winning decision of the week, go to the tape.
Barrett takes the snap and laterals to Ashton Watkins. Correction. Crawford takes a wide open pass and takes it home.
Trailing 39-33 in the final minute, Fort Worth O.D. Wyatt completed a picture-perfect double pass. Cade Barrett to Ashton Watkins to D'Artagnan Crawford for the game-winning 80-yard touchdown to take down Dallas Lincoln 40-39. Thanks to the great Ron Murray for the video there. And Ashton Watkins, since he did the most in that, he
Austin. it's
Austin?
it's pronounced Austin. A wild way to say it.
Austin?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had it as Ashton I had written.
No,
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Austin Watkins of Fort Worth O.D. Wyatt is the game-winning decision of the week. Could have given it to any of the guys in that play, but he did the most. He caught the pass and then he threw the pass. He was the Dave Campbell's Texas Football game-winning decision of the week, presented by Parker University Sports and Performance Center and Synapse Human Performance Centers. For more information, visit texasfootball.com. Congratulations to Austin Watkins of Fort Worth O.D. Wyatt. And now, a word from our friends at VCR Now. Oh, that's not VCR Now. This is.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR Now. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR Now.
Mr. Powers, who'd you talk to this week?
We caught up with Flower Mound tight end Caden Jensen, who, I mean, he's one of these guys that we started like watching play football when he was 14 years old. Now he's a senior in high school and committed to Louisiana. Big-time tight end, good blocker, great pass catcher in a big frame, headed to Louisiana. Great kid as well.
And proof that we're getting old. Here's Greg Powers' conversation with Flower Mound tight end Caden Jensen here on Texas Football Today.
Greg Powers, I'm joined here with DCTF three-star tight end Caden Jensen, who's fresh off of his commitment to Louisiana, basically like it recently happened within the last couple weeks, man. And I feel like we've been through this recruiting process almost from the very beginning, man. I've kind of watched you kind of grow up before my eyes. Just before we talk about the commitment, talk about what it means now to be like a college guy heading on to your first game as a senior at a school like Flower Mound, a 6A program, and you got like probably younger players looking up to you now, and like you're like a team leader now. What's it, you know, when you used to be that guy.
Right. No, absolutely. It's very cool to see how the progression. You know, when I was a freshman, I looked up to guys that were ahead of me that were committed to a college on the next level, and I've always thought like, what is it truly like to be in that position, and what does it take to get there? And I think now it's just, a lot of guys say this, it's just a big relief. Like you have a whole side of just, you can just take a deep breath really and really hone in on your senior season and still have that in the back of the mind that yes, I'm blessed to be able to go to the next level and play. And it's so cool to see that I'm in a position that I looked up to freshman year. So guys are coming up and congratulating me. I know so many freshmen that are in a football program just are, reaching out to me, and I feel like I've got to connect to more people through that avenue of just being having this great opportunity.
Yeah, you got a target on your back.
Yes, sir.
You ready to deal with that?
Oh, that's great. No, I love it. And a lot of it is I've always kind of felt that target, even during practice now too. Like all my teammates, not in a great way. They're a little chippy now. They're like, okay, now so we got this D1 player now. Let's try and make a play on them. And so I think that it's just that iron sharpens iron sort of thing. And so I've always loved it. I've always wanted to run towards the smoke, not run away from it. And so I've always just said, kind of bring it on. And so that's just one of the things that, you really have to accept when you're on that stage and you have an opportunity like that is you have a target.
I got to dangle the carrot for you a little bit here, right? Give you something to work towards. Not going to call you the greatest tight end in Flower Mound history. Right. As you may know,
yes, sir. Yeah.
And people are watching this know, my cousin James Hanna,
yes,
he was pretty good.
Very good.
He's pretty good. 5 years with the Dallas Cowboys.
Very good.
But you have a chance to like be that guy that
yes,
kids look up to get there one day. So what do you feel like you need to show this year to become the greatest tight end in Flower Mound history?
So that was a great point. You know, we have pictures of our guys in our hallway before we go out to practice of all the guys that have gone to the next level. And the very first picture on there is James Hanna, and it's his Cowboys picture. I'm not lying. It's up there in our team room. And so I walk through there, and I just I can work on my speed. I can work on my hands. I can work on my strength. But I think
Pretty good hands for a big guy, though. I'm just saying.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But really, it's just that grit that you got to go with it. And you want, it's a violent sport, so you want to play violent between the whistles, but you also want to be the guy that, you know, we'll pick a guy up and we'll bring we'll bring a group of guys to a place where they can't bring themselves, really. And so I think that's really what I have to do in the position that I am is really just hone in on that grit. I'm a kind heart. I'm a big teddy bear, but in the game of football, you can't be that. And so I think that's my biggest thing I've been working on extensively is just being mean and being nasty, because especially at the tight end position, that's what you need to succeed.
What was it about Louisiana, man? What pulled you in?
Well, other than the great food, it's just the family atmosphere. When I went there, I felt like this was a second home that I never knew. The coaching staff there was just amazing. They really felt that they wanted me for who I am, not just as a football player. The scheme-wise, I feel like I fit in perfectly. A lot of it is what we run right now for high school. And just really the family atmosphere. You know, we went around the town. We had players kind of give us like the scoop of everything, and it just really felt like you were wanted for who you are, not as a football player. So you come there as a football player, but then they want you as a person, sort of thing. So in the town itself, I feel like I can just fit in greatly, scheme-wise, all that kind of stuff. I see that as an avenue to get to the next level.
Is their tight end coach pretty cool? Because
Yes,
they must
sir.
be doing something good, because they got two really good tight ends from
Yes, sir.
Texas on that commitment list. Who is it, and what makes him special?
Coach George Munoz, he's a very, very nice guy. He knows what he's talking about. He's been in the program for quite a long time. He's great at connecting with you on day one, and really kind of diving deep into who you are, like your home life and sort of thing. He doesn't want to know, like, what'd you do today in football? He wants to know, like, how was your day today? You know, how's mom and dad? All that kind of stuff. And then really Coach Desmo was a tight ends coach at University of Louisiana Lafayette. And so that just kind of added another thing of, okay, so he was a tight ends coach. He knows how much value tight ends bring to the table, and he's really just the amount of the personability that all the coaches share is just something very special, and that you don't really get at a whole lot of places.
A man who's grown up before our very own eyes right here. He's going to be running maybe something like this one day. Very well spoken, Caden Jensen, man. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
the
sir.
time. Congratulations
Thank
again
you.
on your commitment, and good luck with your senior season.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
There he is, Caden Jensen, tight end for the Flower Mound Jaguars. And here with a fun fact about Caden Jensen is Greg Powers.
Fun fact, Caden Jensen got to be Rob Gronkowski's stunt double
That's so
recently.
cool.
What?
I wish I would have known that at the time of the interview, because we would have definitely had to talk a little bit about Caden, next interview. We have to do it again.
Yeah.
We have to talk about
I mean,
this.
Run
I
it
mean,
back.
no, look at this photo.
That's
They're
insane.
basically the same size.
Yep.
Like, obviously stunt double, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, look at them.
Well, I can tell you because I was there when they shot that interview, and I went up to Caden and I was like, "Oh my God, you're just as big as like I thought you were."
Texas high school football talent, it is real.
It is.
That's
Goodness
insane.
gracious. So that's one of the greatest tight ends of all time. And
A
high school
17-year-old,
senior
Yeah.
staying next to each other. Anyway, we appreciate Rob Gronkowski's stunt double, Caden Jensen, for stopping by with Greg Powers. Two more things to do real quick, Pickle. Can we talk about our friends at Athletes to Athletes? Would you mind?
Let's do it.
Every player wants to. Oh my gosh! I swear it's. I think this is literally the last read, and I still haven't got the start of it memorized. I know all the points, but it's just like I can't. I should have also downloaded it instead of just looking it up in the Slack every time, because you sent it back on like July.
You
something.
look it up in the Slack. Just keep it on your homepage.
Every high school athlete wants to play on the big stage, and every parent wants their child to be the best, but is making your target list of schools based on top 25 rankings really the best strategy? What about academics, location, coaching style, financial aid. There's so many factors that should be considered when selecting a college program outside of on-field performance. Our friends at Athletes to Athletes have put together a recruiting guide centered around providing a broader, more holistic perspective about what your college experience could be. It's got checklists, do's and don'ts, key strategies, much more. It's a 22-page guide that covers everything you and your family should know as you walk through your college recruiting journey. And now, for a limited time only, Athletes to Athletes is offering this guide for free to our audience. Go to athletes.com/Dave Campbell today. Download the free college recruiting guide. That's athletes.com, athletes.com/Dave Campbell, or scan that QR code. We've got one more small announcement to make, and that is it's time to start nominating your favorite high school football players for the Whataburger Super Team. The time has come to nominate the Texas high school football players you believe should be on our 2022 Whataburger Super Team. Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Whataburger are proud to honor the best and brightest stars in Texas high school football with the 2022 Whataburger Super Team, and it's all in your hands, not up to me. I got nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm. There's 40 spots.
Nominate the players you think should be on the 40-player Whataburger Super Team by going to texasfootball.com/whatasuperteam.
That's such a good URL.
texasfootball.com/whatasuperteam. Nominations close on November 1st. Okay, so you got a little bit of time, but don't waste it because only players who are nominated are eligible to be on the ballot. That make sense? Got to nominate them to be on the ballot. Go to texasfootball.com/whatasuperteam today to nominate your favorite player. Now let's go over to Ashley Pickle for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts?
Want to remind you that there is another show happening at 2 o'clock today. I will not say what the name of the show is. It's something like Republic of Foosball.
No.
Or something like that. But if you're interested in college football, they're coming up next. 2 o'clock, wherever you're watching it now.
Powers, you got anything going on this week?
Oh, yeah. We're going to be going to...
Oh, yeah. Where are you going?
I got to put together that graphic. I forgot.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
More graphic
So
work.
this will tell you can tell me so I can put it on the graphic.
Highland Park travels to Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And I'm really fired up to, see, I think Brennan Storr is one of the more underrated players in Texas high school football. He's a pretty good quarterback going to Western Michigan. 2, Jaden Hardy is a guy who I have on the 5-star watch list in the class of 2024. He flirted with possibly Louisville flirted with possibly playing at IMG, but decided to stay at home and play for the Farmers, and I like that decision.
So
nice.
his treat is that he gets to hang out with Greg Powers.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's Highland Park and Louisville, y'all.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of talent.
Big time Texas high school football, 6A.
Goldsmith?
It's at Louisville.
Okay, yeah. So have you? When's the last time you went to a game? I live kind of near there, where we also in Louisville.
The last time I went to a game there would have been 4 seasons ago for Armani Winfield's freshman.
I'm very
Nice.
interested in your review because they've
A lot of
recently-
upgrades.
They've upgraded the stadium, and because I go by it relatively frequently, and it's
Yeah.
pretty nice.
I was going to say, I drive by it all the time, but I haven't been to a game in a hot minute.
Yeah. So that's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks to Caden Jensen and Flower Mound for being our guest, and thanks to Greg Powers for his continued courage.
You're welcome. I guess.
For Ashley
You're welcome.
Pickle, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, I'm using your trophy to hold my headphones, so come get your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow for a big-time Thursday show to be named later. Come up with a name for the Thursday show on Texas Football Today.